So my first space of work and my space of joy was the classroom. It was formal education. And alongside that was youth activism, bringing youth together with the alternative ideas, developing media skills and alternative media to put out the stories and the ideas that we wanted for people to be critical and for people to question and for people to act and access their agency to change things. That period of my life was very rich. As I said, I was involved in teacher organization, sharing teacher pedagogy and methodology that was different to what you were trained in. And it was also being an arts activist, using drama and theatre in community. So I was part of setting up what was called participatory education through theatre, together with Sam Woodley, who was part of the Black Consciousness Movement, and we did a lot of community education on issues of child abuse, on the tricameral parliament, on children's rights, on what it is to act together. And we would just move around using forum theatre and participatory education theatre under a tree at the corner of a street, in the yards of flats, because I lived in Overport, which was full of flats, and we would just go and we'd just set up and then get these conversations going. I felt that words were powerful. I felt that listening to other people's words leads to understanding. And I felt our country needed to our people of our country needed to understand each other. And that work from the school system, and I was involved in curriculum, developing curriculum for matric, drama, etc., organizing teachers, constantly bringing us together to learn. That work has remained with me till today. It's just that I began facilitating learning and conversation in different spaces. The 80s and the early years of the 90s was such a creative moment in the education sector, which we lost. We were into alternative methodology. Teachers were organizing against the system of propaganda. We had the first, Teachers' Democratic Union. People were creative in the classrooms. We were designing curriculum. We had an idea of what the new education system needed to look like.
And these were acts of rebellion in a way, because you were doing extra, and it was because you wanted your students to have more.
Absolutely. They deserved more. We believed in them, and we believed that they would be part of transforming our society. And
so they were.
And so they were. And so they were. And but I think it was managed poorly. First of all, we needed to have education ministers who understood education. Secondly, we needed to have managed the system better so that the wealth of knowledge didn't leave. We needed to also have been brave to say that many of the teachers who were there, even giving them a time frame in which to develop themselves, still needed to go. Because what we created were several years of underdevelopment, because we had underdeveloped people in those positions. We couldn't bite the bullet. We were too worried about the votes. We didn't do the right thing for succeeding generations. So we have the kind of illiteracy that we have. We have the lack of skill. We have the terrible turnover. We have the abuse by people in positions of trust. We also, and I want to say this because we need to say difficult things. It's one thought in a whole range of thoughts. Under apartheid, different education departments were developed differently. We needed to have the courage to have said, well, in coloured affairs and in Indian affairs, we had some real strengths. We should have been able to say, you will be into leadership positions, and we will raise the levels of what happened in Bantu education. We didn't put our best people. We looked at how they looked rather than what was in their heads. We didn't say, you, the system needs, you, the system needs, you good at what you do. Even though it was developed in this apartheid system, it's what we need. You will lead. We were too worried about the colour. We were too worried about the colour dynamics. See, and black consciousness taught us, to go beyond the colorism.
And we did that thing that you were speaking about earlier, where we washed over the differences.
The differences.
And
the neglect.
We put a lot of focus on the rainbowness and
Yes.
the oneness.
Yes.
And education was one place where there was degrees of difference amongst us.
Absolute.
As black people speaking
Absolutely.
globally, black globally.
Yeah.
There were those
Absolutely.
Were levels.
Yes.
Bantu education was the worst.
Yes. Yes.
And that we just glossed over all of that.
And what happened was, in the managing of the system, the wealth of those teaching methods, those things that were proven to have given results even under apartheid, given results, right? Why didn't we utilize it? Why didn't we raise the levels rather than work at our lowest common denominator? And what happened was, instead of uplifting, the system was managed in such a way that we operated at our lowest level to make everybody feel comfortable. Actually, that was not the task. The task was to ensure that the next couple of generations were going to soar and do what it took politically to do that. And I just think we missed it. So if there's anything I would like to do in the years remaining to me, is to be part of the formation of a critical retired teachers organization that, based on the research we do, to be able to give guidance to the education system. Because I think in this regard, I'm a founder member of South African Democratic Teachers Union. The union has failed. It went so much into just looking at teachers' salaries and not looking at the nature of our work that it has not given critical guidance to stakeholders regarding the education system. So I would like to see a retired teachers formation. We carry on, we do our consciousness raising work through media, we do our research, we support schools that we taught at or that we went to school. We offer extra pairs of hands when a school needs it. We continue to teach where we can. I'd like to see that. I'd like to be part of that going forward. So I will be 65. I think I got some oomph in me and some vuma in me to do that till I'm 75. I'd like to go out fighting that way. committed always to raising our consciousness and our learning.
Wow. Thank you, Ali. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap?
Thank you for doing this work to Legacy Foundation. I like the idea that Mama Leah wanted to celebrate 90 women, because she recognizes you don't do this on your own. And I feel privileged to have had the opportunity to tell my story. And then I realized I actually am excited about my life and about the life that I've lived. And more women need to bring their excitement about their lives. I've had a chance to reflect and realize and feel and experience a great gratitude, because I have done the things that I love. And I'm ever so grateful to God and to the universe and to the people around me for having the opportunity to do that.